All right, we're back again, Media and Society 2. This is November 23rd. So we're in the middle of our project, in the middle of our newspaper project. All right, and this is last week we're going through. There's a couple of tasks to do last week. One was to find just a photograph and some information based on our 6 categories that we've got for newspapers, most important stories in newspapers. See if you can do that. Make sure you've got that done. And also we had chapter 12, news and newsmakers, to have a look at, and then you have to click the link to submit the answers. Now I've put the answers up here, but you got to make sure that you do it. Okay, you got to make sure that you submit to me, and of course there's a form for you to submit to. As you can see, Yuriko has done it here and submitted the answers like this. That's a perfect submission. Nicely done. Make sure that you do it, because you need to go back and do that, and not just this one, but all the others that we've done before. All right. Sometimes I give you the answers. Sometimes I give you a form, and sometimes I don't. It doesn't mean you should forget to do it. Okay, I'll tell you why. I can check, especially when you've been looking at work that you don't have to submit in a form. I can also check that you've done it over Moodle. All right. So, for example, I can click here on participants, and I can see who has accessed the work, who has done it. So some of you got some gaps. Okay, let me give you an example. I'm not going to show the name of the student here, but this is an example of a good report. So this is a report where I can see who's been clicking. This is one student. Okay, this is one student. And as you can see, a lot of the links are being clicked here. So this will be an example of a good student who's clicking a lot of the links each week. Okay, so I can check, even if I don't give you the answers to submit, I can still check that you have accessed it and looked at it. Okay, so be careful that you don't have big gaps on your report. Okay, so that's week to week, and that means that when it comes to final grade, I can go to this page and see who's been doing it and who hasn't. All right, we might have a little bit of a makeup after this project on newspapers. We might have a makeup session where we can get everyone up to speed, but just be careful that I can still check if you're doing the work, whether there's a submission or no submission. Okay, so you got to be clicking the links. You got to do that, because I can check it, and that could affect, well, it will affect the final grade. All right, so just remember that. When it comes to the grading, let's go to our, this was the original information that I put out in the first lesson, Media and Society. What we're going to do, let's go down, we'll click down to the grading. All right, so basically what we've got is 2 reports, midterm and a final test. They're going to be we're going to call them reports, but in this case it's a midterm newspaper submission, 30%. All right, so that means that a lot of your final grade can be done in the middle, in the midterm. Okay, and we'll have another project. University calls it a report, but we know it's a project, which I'm going to submit to the office this week. And that means that you have to do the midterm project and the final project to get 70%. The rest is to do with homework basically 30% of weekly tests. So if you haven't been clicking the links, if you haven't been doing the online work, then you'll lose points from the weekly test as well. All right. So again, if we have a makeup time or a checking time, that might come up soon. So to get everyone back up to speed. All right. So just remember that this submission for the newspaper is a 30% score. And there's a few things to submit, not just the newspaper, but also your comments on it, which is going to come up in the next week or so. So let's have a look. Let's see what this week is all about. Well, last week I said you had to find a little story and just have a quick look at a photograph and talk about it. And what I was trying to get you to do was looking at our different types of newspaper headlines. These are some of the ideas I talked about that should be included when you have an interesting website newspaper or paper newspaper. And you're submitting just your first ideas last week. And we've got a few. Here's Sonica. Let's have a look at Sonica. She's chosen to do prominent. You don't have to do, obviously, Michael Jackson, but she chose it again, which is good. So the headline, the big title, which is good. And then she's given a little description of why she thought it was an important front page. All right. So if you do that, it's a good practice for what's coming up this week. You don't have to choose the same story, of course, but it's just a way of you researching a headline, a photograph, and then talking about it. So if we went back to our headings, it would be prominent, internationally famous people who make the news for their activities. Okay, so that's a good example of a prominent headline. You could have, some people have got visually engaging. There's some other ones close to home. Some people have put current as well. So you can mix up maybe 2 or 3 of these elements will be in your front page. So that's Sonica. That's a good one. Okay, let's go back to, this is last week. So you got to submit that. And basically what you're doing is you are, I'll click to enlarge. You're getting ready, getting your stories ready, which is headline, the main story, the smaller story, and an advertisement. And if you check out this video here, which I made last week, where it says introduction video, make sure you click that, because that's me talking about exactly how to do it. All right, so go back and check that introduction video, 10 minutes. So let's move on to today. So the main thing today is for you to start making your front page in your teams or solo, and it's going to be most of the task for today. But also there's a little game which I call Headlines Game, and this is just to get you thinking about how to write your front page news. So let's click on this one. Now, what you have to do here is obviously enter your name and student number. And I've got 4 headlines. Empty headlines. Your headline is here. Your headline is here, and so on. So this is your choice. What do you think is the most interesting headline? We got Trump there, and we've got 4 options. We've got Trump dumped, here we go, bye bye Donald, you're fired. Okay, so just choose one that you think is the best headline for that picture. There's no right answer, no wrong answer. It's just I want you to practice. Here's Bieber, and you've got 4 options. What do you think? Which one do you like, basically? Which one do you like? Here's a basketball one. Which headline matches that photo the best? Your opinion. And again here, which headline from these 4 matches this photo? So that would go in this space here, where it says your headline here. There would be that's where it would go. So it's not a test. It's what do you think? What's the most interesting headline? So see if you can do that and submit that. Of course, I'm going to see who's done it by the report. All right. So have a look at that. That should take you some time to do that. Headlines game. And the idea is that you can come up with an interesting headline for your front page. Don't copy from another newspaper. Try and come up with your own. All right. So I put the front page information here again. And if you're not sure how to do it, maybe I'm going to put this link again. I might put this link again for this video up here. And I've got here templates. So choose one template. Which template do you like? All right, so let me just show you these. All right, so let me show you these 4 templates. You choose one. This is this is number 1, is the most complicated one. So what you would do is you delete this text and you put in your own text. Okay, so you just highlight it, click delete, and then you add in your text. So this text is what we call dummy text, which is just for the position. And then you would type this is the information on our first story. So you would type your story in there. Okay, and so on. So that's the first one. A little bit complicated. Some people use it. First story, second story. Okay, here's another template. This is number 2, template 2. A bit easier. Okay, so we've got the dummy text and the newspaper title and your headline. Okay, so remember there's a newspaper headline, the name of the newspaper, and then your first story here, maybe the second story here, some advertising. You could put the second story here, and then the photo there, and then this other section could be advertising. All right, so that's number 2. Number 3 looks like this. Obviously change the name of the newspaper, make it your name. First story, second story, photo here. Okay, it could be an advert over here, commercial, CM. So you delete that. So that might be an easier one to do. And here's the final template. If you like this one, again, the name of the newspaper, your headline, the main story, second story, advertising, and so on. So choose the template that you like, just one. There's 4 to choose from. Which one do you like? Discuss it if you're in a team. Discuss which one you want to use. And try and think about our topics. If you remember, current news story, close to home, local news, international people, visually engaging, so big photographs. Consequence for the audience. Is it important news for the audience? And then we got human interest, the fluffy story, the story that is a bit nicer than the main story. Okay. So you can have more than one of these categories in each photo and in each story. Okay. So what I'm going to do coming up next week is I'm going to get you to talk about your decision. So you're going to submit your opinion, like a presentation of your newspaper. But the first thing to do for this week is for you to make the newspaper front page itself. And then there should be a link that I sent to you. You could submit into this folder. At the moment it's empty. You're submitting what it says midterm newspaper here. Okay. Try and do that, because we got the next stage coming next week. And don't forget, I can check once more. I can check that you've clicked the links, you're doing the work. Okay, individual. This is one student's report. All right, so be careful that you click all the links, otherwise you won't get the scores. So don't forget, I can check. All right, so that is November 23rd. We're not off this week. You still have to do the work. And see if you can really finish the newspaper by the end of this week. And then we'll move on to how to present it using Moodle. So that's it for this week.